Currently, the Waka Waka EA is available for $2,200. There are some affiliates where you can get a discount of around $200. I got even better news. I got a very similar trading bot, also based on martingale, similar backtest results, similar returns when you put it on the live market. You can get it for completely free. Check out the hyperlink in the video description to download my martingale grid system. And now to the actual purpose of that video, let's dig deeper into the Waka Waka EA. Cheers guys, Nico here. Today I will review another expert advisor, which is the Waka Waka EA. I will walk you through this trading bot. I will show you the creator behind the Waka Waka EA. To make it really crystal clear, the Waka Waka EA is a martingale trading bot based on a grid system. Therefore, I will spare you with any backtest results, reports, since, well, it is a martingale system. It is not, at least in my point of view, a viable trading system, but people really like martingale, and the Waka Waka EA and the creator behind is also quite popular. Therefore, I almost had to do a review video, right? On the left hand side you see the equity curve and the balance curve. The blue line simply means all the realized profits and losses. Quite a straight line, I must say. And the green line, what you see right here, which is sometimes going down in a steep manner, is the equity. So that means the floating profit, or primarily here the floating losses, since the Waka Waka EA simply does not take losses, or if so, it simply doubles down to regain all the prior losses to make the equity curve, the balance curve, look like this. A pretty much 90-degree angle equity curve, what does not exist, at least in a real life, or at least in a long-term track record. That is simply what you will not find, except maybe in the stats of Bernie Madoff. At least the Waka Waka EA, or the creator behind it, is honest that the system is a martingale system, and martingale systems, at least for a certain period of time, tend to perform something like this. Very straightforward, very predictable regarding realized profits. Not so predictable, of course, in the floating loss and profits. I would say the Waka Waka EA is not the optimal system to kick it off as a newbie in the trading environment. Well, first of all, as I already mentioned, it's a martingale system, and if you want to check out what martingale means to you, to your portfolio, to you as a trader, simply check out this video here in the upper right corner. But however, what already you see here, you are always facing an immediate loss, or more or less not really like floating profits, since you really take those tiny little wins in return of pretty big drawdowns, relative drawdowns for that amount of time. So it can really happen that you are in a drawdown, so in a loss period for a couple of days, even weeks, until you make a little gain. So in simple terms, that can mean you are maybe trading with a 1K account and you have been in a floating loss of at peak $100. So that has been a drawdown of 10%, and then the system only takes $10 home as a gain when price is going into the right direction. That's pretty much what the Waka EA trading system is doing, and as you can see it right here in the floating P and L, it is almost always, first of all, in the negative until it is turning into profits for a short amount of time. You see here we have been shortly in minus 1K, and then we just took home like a couple $100. So that is a negative risk to return ratio, very, very dangerous to your overall portfolio, since all your savings can be jeopardized rather quickly. Said that, this is the sales page of the Waka Waka EA by Valeriia Mishchenko. It already exists for quite a while. It has been downloaded for more than 8,000 times. It exists since 2021. It's having many reviews and comments. I would take it with a grain of salt, of course, since these reviews can be scammed or just from other like generic bots, and the comments as well. Nevertheless, reviews are at least kind of an indication that the system is being bought and is having some kind of track record. And interesting what this, I guess, Dutch fellow is mentioning, Hans van Ditmarsh, that the creator behind Valeriia is doing an excellent job in marketing the Waka Waka EA, even though it is just quote-unquote a martingale system, and you see it continues going into that very straight line. But it is almost inevitable for a martingale system to blow up after a while. So what I must say, not only about the Waka Waka EA, but about all martingale systems, the creators are legit. I would say also the creator behind this bot is legit. She or he is doing a marvelous job in marketing this trading robot. Nevertheless, it is martingale, and then the sales page and also the website the creator is providing is getting a little bit confusing, since it is creating wrong expectations that you will be more or less a millionaire in a couple of days, since returns and facts and figures are being mentioned that are simply not replicable for you in most cases. Of course, that is not always the case. Sometimes you can make it. Of course, that is the promise behind a martingale system, but you have to really understand that having a martingale system in your portfolio is closer to gambling than to a viable investment strategy. And definitely kudos to her in that very nice presentation. As I've seen it, when you become a client, you get also your own client area. You have an overview about like bots, because she is also offering different kind of expert advisors. And what I also found quite interesting, actually, let me dive into that a little bit deeper. She is giving us some testimonials at hand. And actually I checked out almost all of them, especially the older ones, simply to get a feeling, how are they doing now? Can I replicate their returns? Can I check their returns? Can I see, well, are they actual customers, or maybe just some bought actors from abroad, so to say, just to assume the very worst? I don't assume this, but I try to be as skeptical as possible for you in this review video. Quick in-between check in our visual backtest of the Waka Waka EA, and you see it is still doing stellar. We kicked it off with 100k, currently sitting at 29k, so almost 29%. What is a little bit more odd are the testimonials. So what I simply did, what you see right here, are my quick notes to the Waka Waka EA. Let me actually get to testimonial number 3 first, because that one is the most interesting one. Here you see the video in which the testimonial was featured. Once again, I will put the hyperlink in the video description, and I was able to spot the name of the testimonial in his myfxbook.com, and the signal is actually still live, as you can see it here. Waka 1%, Waka 2%, and both a very comparable performance as in our system, what you've seen just before in the visual mode. A very predictable straight line regarding the balance curve. Of course, you don't see the equity here, but you can also pretty much assume that there has been already steep equity losses here and there, and then there was just too big of a loss. The Waka Waka system, the martingale system, was doubling down on a losing position, and then at one point it lost all its profits. Comparable performance as in the beginning, just another hit, it had to cut losses and was losing a significant amount of the whole account. And there you can actually see one account is sitting at a gain of minus 25%, the other one at around minus 50%, and both with a similar drawdown of around 60 to up to 70%, what is pretty much a total loss of all your savings, since, well, making up this significant big loss on your trading account, you have to gain double, triple. It is just much harder now to get back into green numbers. I would say that is definitely a very interesting testimonial, since that one is still sharing the MyFX book, the track record with the public, what is great, of course, so you can actually see how the system is still doing. So let me give you a quick impression about the video back then 6 months ago, when the testimonial was more than happy, since the account grew 30% in only 4 months. Of course, that are stellar statistics. And you see here in the beginning a little bump to the downside, since then a very stable growth, just the same thing what we have seen here. So that is pretty much the account which was featured in the video and experienced a significant loss since then. Just to put this into perspective, once again, you can be also very unlucky. You can start your journey right here when this testimonial had a return of 45-50% and then losing it all, right? So you sit, let's say, with your starting account of $1,000, then suddenly the system is losing, well, because martingale, the market is just not moving as predicted by the system. It doubles down, then it has to cut all the losses, and then you are in the pit of around 75%. That is pretty much the dip you see here. We sit here at the returns of almost 50% after all the losses, minus 26%. So it can happen within minutes. with a martingale system that you are losing 70-75% of your whole account. So keep this really in mind, that all your savings are always in jeopardy, particularly with martingale systems. And now let's actually check out testimonial number 1 I checked out. That is pretty much the video about, and I was actually catching the name of that testimonial on the MQL5 platform. So I checked out his profile of Alexandrov, but what I was not seeing anymore was the signal he was showing in the video about the Waka Waka EA. They disappeared, and I also punched in the hyperlink number by number from the shown signal, and as we can see it right here, the signal is not at least public. It might be there still, but for whatever reason, the testimonial, in that case Alexander, simply stopped sharing the signal with the public. Now let me do a little bit quicker. Testimonial number 2, you see here the thumbnail. I will also put the hyperlink again in the video description. I spotted the user, he was showing his MyFX book, and also here in that case the Waka Waka signal he showed simply disappeared. So for me it's also not again possible to follow up to see how is the current performance of the Waka Waka EA, since I'm especially curious simply because the Waka Waka EA is a martingale system, and it is pretty much in the nature of a martingale system to blow up at one point. In that case, I'm not able to follow up to understand how the system is doing for testimonial number 2. Maybe my very last few cents about the testimonials. Some of them are doing quite a good job in showing the up and downsides of the Waka Waka EA, but I must say the majority of at least the YouTube testimonials are a little bit weird, and at least for me, that is of course subjective, it appears like that they are not real traders. They don't really understand what the financial markets are, what Forex trading means, and sometimes it even feels like that they are reading off a piece of paper. These are big words, I cannot back it up, but at least it appears in some of these YouTube testimonials a little bit weird how these testimonials are acting, especially since most of the live signals, except for the one we have seen, the live signals are actually turned off, and I cannot really see how they are doing, even though I have a pretty good idea how those live signals are doing, at least after a while, since it is a martingale system. Enough with the testimonials, I will share the other testimonials as well in the video description, so you can check it out yourself, just for transparency. And as you can see, the Waka Waka EA, our live visual backtest, is still running for good. So what the creator behind the Waka Waka EA is doing, she is sharing also live track records. That is definitely a good sign. I have to give kudos to her. You see the first signal is the Waka clone. Drawdown 40%, return 375%. Pretty much the same equity curve as we see it here in our live backtest. The only thing what is a little bit odd in my point of view is that this one is the Waka clone, then she's providing another one which is the Waka Waka EA, currently sitting at 129% with only half the drawdown of 22%. She's not only providing 2 live signals, but actually also a third one, which is called the Waka SP500. I already took quite a beat regarding drawdown, sitting at 75% max. That is just something what I would like to point out, what is a little bit odd of having several kind of signals. Well, because who is saying that the provider of such a system is not having several of these signals running in the background, maybe not public but privately, and then as soon as, for example, the Waka clone is busted one day, since the signal already experienced a drawdown of 40%, so especially in the martingale system that can escalate rather quickly. So when the account completely blows up, the creator of such a signal can simply turn off the blown signal and switch on or make public the backup signal to make it look like that the system is still running good, even though the system is just maybe running with a different kind of settings, different kind of risk on a different kind of pair, which in a martingale system simply had better chances of surviving so far. Another odd thing from my perspective is that Valeriia, the creator, or maybe better to say the avatar behind the Waka Waka EA and some other expert advisors, trading bots, is never showing herself in a video. So you never really see the creator is that person, that avatar. Is it real or is it really just a generic avatar? Because I must say, at least for me, the photo of the creator seems a little bit like stock footage, but that is just a minor criticism on my side. Well, normally in my reviews I also dig into the provided backtest results, but that is absolutely and completely pointless since it is a martingale system and it is optimized, over-optimized, curve-fitted to its best. It simply does not make sense to check out these backtest reports because, well, you can't simply believe them that, well, from wherever, for example, that account started, let's say 100k or 10k, you're sitting after a couple of years at billions. The only purpose of these kind of screenshots is to make you greedy and buy this bot because you simply want to have the same results for yourself, right? That is why I would be very careful with these kind of screenshots. They are curve fitted, over optimized, and it is absolutely unlikely that you will recreate these returns on your very own real money live account. If you haven't had enough, check out the following video about my very own martingale system. I explain it in depth, what it is doing. You can also add your very own 5 cents when you have a particular idea you want to code. I will give you the source file as well, so you can add your 5 cents, your very own ideas to my martingale trading bot. Check it out. I see you in the next video. Cheers and goodbye.